So today we have some more news to cover. I also wanted to make this video today as it's 3 weeks to today that we will be able to play the VIP demo. We will be covering stuff like legendary contracts today, which we got more information on, how difficulties specifically work in the game, and also some more information on the VIP and free demo, and just some general stuff that the devs have tweeted answering some pretty awesome questions. My name is Ryan Central, and if you want to keep up to date with more Anthem content, then do subscribe. All I will say is that next week there's going to be some awesome content, so you definitely don't want to miss that. We'll go straight into the video talking about the GameStop pre-order option. Basically boils down to if you pre-order with GameStop, you get this vinyl. It's almost like a decal. We kind of went over it in the other video with pre-order stuff. It's like a spray job that you can put on top of your javelin. You cannot change the colors on them or anything like that. They're all preset. And if you pre-order from GameStop, you get the Edge of Resolve vinyl. I can't actually get onto the GameStop website because I'm obviously not in America, but going off a Game Rant article, it does say GameStop is the only place to receive an exclusive skin called the Edge of Resolve vinyl that will likely apply to any javelin class. So let me know if this influences your opinion on when or if to pre-order at all. I do want to go over that really quickly just because I've covered stuff on what pre-order bonuses you can get and getting the Legion of Dawn edition, Premier Access, all that. I'm not necessarily condoning it. I just want to give you guys all of the information you need for you to make an educated decision on whether you want to pre-order or not. I understand a lot of people will not pre-order for various reasons, so that's perfectly fine. I completely understand them. But by me going over these options doesn't necessarily mean that I'm saying you guys should pre-order the game. You're all adults, you can make your own decisions there. Let's go over some key questions with the demo build next. We'll start with the obvious questions. None of the progress that you make in the VIP or free demo will carry over into the game, and also you can stream the demo if you want to. Ben Irving was asked, do you get a legendary weapon if you play the VIP demo? Ben Irving says no, the only thing you get is another vinyl, not the one that we saw from GameStop, but we don't quite know what it's called or what it looks like just yet. You get a legendary weapon for pre-ordering the Legion of Dawn edition. We did a video going over all of that, which you can see in the top right. VIP demo players do get stuff, but is there going to be anything for those that played the alpha? Ben Irving says basically no, except being amongst the first people in the world to play the game. Is the demo build that we're getting at the start of February going to be the final build of the game? Mike Gamble says no, it's actually a specific demo build. Most things should be the same though. There are minor things in the demo that we're fixing in the main game. He goes on to say that the launcher should be exactly the same. There might not even be a patch between the free and VIP demo. What's also interesting is this question. Will the January VIP demo and the February free demo be the same content? Mike Gamble says mostly sunglasses. So he sort of hinted that there will be some differences between the VIP and free demo. Not quite sure what yet. I will definitely keep an eye out on it when I'm playing myself, and I would love you guys to keep an eye on stuff like that too. For those that are prepping themselves for the VIP demo because they pre-ordered or have Origin Access or EA Access, there is a page from EA going over exactly what you need to be doing next. If you are an Origin Access or EA Access subscriber, or if you digitally pre-ordered on Origin, Xbox Store or PlayStation Store, you have been automatically registered for the VIP demo and you do not need a code. If you pre-ordered Anthem anywhere else, you will need a code to access the VIP demo. Please contact the retailer you pre-ordered from to obtain your code. So as I said, GameStop at the start of this video, if you pre-ordered there, then they are the ones you need to be talking to get your code. It also goes over how to download the VIP demo, whether you're playing on PC, Xbox or PlayStation, just basically goes over that in nice, succinct detail. So if you're not sure what to do next, that is good to be in the description for you to check out. Now I want to go over the news on legendary contracts. We found out a couple of weeks ago at this point in the End Game video, saying that there's going to be two main forms of End Game, at least at the launch of Anthem. The first is Strongholds, which we know a decent amount about. They're 4-player instances, dungeon runs, that have a boss at the end and loads of loot for you to get in these missions. You then, of course, have Legendary Contracts, which we don't know an awful lot about, so Mike Gamble did clear up some information about them. Legendary Contracts are repeatable, dynamic endgame content, which takes you out into the world to satisfy certain objectives, and they are hella difficult. Non-legendary contracts are given to you earlier as an attempt to train you. It does seem that contracts are going to be the main version of side quests in the game, asking you to do all sorts of bits and pieces. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're dailies, because I think there's going to be dailies and weeklies in the game anyway, but they might just be side missions, normal contracts being fairly straightforward to do, go off and do this, go off to kill that. The legendary contracts are going to be where the difficulty really ramps up. You'd have to be max level and also have really good gear to be able to do it, at least with any luck. Somebody asked Mike Gamble to define dynamic. He goes on to say that they will send you to different areas and ask you to do a variation of tasks each time. I guess the best example to compare that to would be like the bounty missions from the Spider in Destiny 2, but it's hard to really say. There might be specific ones, say for example, killing this rare mob in this dungeon on a certain difficulty, but it also might be that you'll be able to do the legendary contracts on any difficulty, but you obviously want to push it a lot higher for you to get better rewards. Seeing as we haven't mentioned it here, Shaper Storms are definitely on the horizon. This was a question asked to Ben Irving. When will we learn about Shaper Storms before launch, or do we have to play the game to find out? Ben Irving says not being able to retweet with a shush or patient gift sucks. Honestly, something like that, I just want to see it for myself, but I do understand that some people will want the information prior to learn more about it. We sort of mentioned various difficulties, so let's go over those bits and pieces now, as Ben Irving has specifically gone over how difficulties make the game more difficult. For those that don't know, Anthem has a difficulty system very similar to Diablo. There are 6 difficulties in game at launch: easy, normal and hard. Those 3 you can play at any level. And then you have Grandmaster 1, 2 and 3, which are only unlocked once you hit the max level of level 30. He goes on to say that everybody in your group will be on the same difficulty, and it's your group leader that gets to pick. He picks at the start of the mission, going off this old Colossus gameplay from the Stronghold. You can see it in the bottom there. So you pick it and then you go out into the world to do your mission. He also says that when it comes to the game, you can start on hard if you want. You unlock Grandmaster 1, 2 and 3 at max level, which is level 30 of course. But we don't know yet if you have to do some amount of stuff on Grandmaster 1 before you unlock Grandmaster 2, and vice versa, or whether they just all unlock at once you hit endgame. This all came from a key question. Any chance that you guys could go into detail about the increased difficulties and what that entails? For example, is it just more health for enemies, or is there more to it than that? Ben Irving says it's mainly health and damage for the difficulty settings, but when there is an elite or higher version of a creature, we tweak some of their behaviors. For example, their accuracy, their dodge frequency, bits and pieces like that. It's good to know that enemies aren't just going to become damage sponges in a lot of cases, but hopefully there is a lot of elements to make the game much more difficult, and it seems that we do get that based on how many people are in our group too. Is squad play scaled by player count 1, 2, 3, 4, or is it 1 to 4, meaning that if you play solo and add 1 person to mean that there's 2 of you? Does the squad play scale for 2 people, or does it bump up to as if there were 4 people like some games do in their multiplayer? Ben Irving says the number of creatures changes based on 2 to 4, and the creature health scales based on 1, 2, 3 and 4. So not only do you have the difficulties in-game, making enemies do more damage and have more health, having 4 people in your group will also increase the health of the enemies as well as the amount of enemies that spawn. So if you want the hardest of the hard content, then you want to be playing on like Grandmaster 3 in a 4-person group. Ben Irving also says that you get increased chance for better loot by picking harder content and a harder difficulty. So the hardest content on the hardest difficulty is the best way to get the best loot. Efficiency plays a factor here, of course. In the respawn restricted areas, are there any times to pick somebody up that's down before you can no longer pick them up? Ben Irving says it's available until the party wipes or you repair them. But he does go on to say that it gets harder and harder with every teammate that goes down. So the more times that you die, the more likely that your group is to wipe. He also goes on to say that larger creatures will drop ammo if you don't kill them. Only a couple of these do this, however. As long as you're pushing forward and can hit your shots, you should have enough ammo. And the last thing on difficulties, how hard would the Grandmaster difficulties be for a crew that has only played on the hardest difficulty prior to unlocking them? Ben Irving says it really depends on player skill. The general hope is that the difficulties are actually, difficult. The hard isn't just still quite easy for a lot of players. It would suck if the only real challenge came from Grandmaster 3 and Grandmaster 2 and below were all really straightforward to do for general players. I know that there's going to be like really hardcore players that only want to play in the hardest difficulties, but just in a general sense, it's going to be really difficult for Anthem to balance that. But because it is a dynamic game, it might be quite easy to do it on the go. But I am worried that when the game launches, that all of the hard content is going to be relatively easy, but that's just my own concern there. Seems that Ben Irving and the rest of BioWare do have a hand on how difficulty is going to play in Anthem, and to make sure that the game is challenging, because a lot of the stuff is repeating the same content over and over, that you need to have that challenge that games like Diablo do so very well. But that's everything that I wanted to go over today. We went over the GameStop pre-order stuff, we went over legendary contracts, and then finally, of course, how difficulties work within Anthem. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, we've got some amazing content coming out next week, so be sure not to miss it. Have a good weekend, take care, and I'll see you then.